Hi, my name is Gerhard Schwadner, and welcome to Selling Power TV. Today, we have the great pleasure of meeting with Jim Rich. He is General Manager for the Americas for Board.com. Welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Welcome to our SPM discussion. How would you define sales performance management?
To me, sales performance management is more of a concept than a product. I don't think there's anybody out there that sells a product. It's more of the consolidation of all of the different functions that need to go into a sales organization. So if you look at the things that happen throughout the year, you've got sales capacity planning, identifying how many people I need to make my numbers. I've got territory planning, how am I going to segment the market to be able to allocate territories to salespeople effectively and fairly and equitably. And then I've got incentive compensation that I've got to go through to make sure that I've got the right incentives in line that strike that balance between what the CFO's objective is, which is to drive the cost or keep the cost of sales relatively low, and what the CRO's objective is, which is to give incentives to the salespeople. And then lastly is the dreaded forecasting, which is the bane of every sales leader's existence, right? It's and every CFO's existence is how do I deliver a forecast that's meaningful, that's real, that's defendable, that the CFO can count on.
Many companies that do it really well, where they have like 20 or 30 quarters in a row with better numbers. And that's what sales performance management really can do, consistent acceleration.
And that's the forecasting of it is one piece of it, is the accurate forecasting, but it's also making sure that you've got an organization and a process and a workflow set up to actually hit those numbers and the right salespeople.
When it comes to all the other companies that are not public, what are the major challenges that you're seeing right now?
So we did a recent survey with some of our customers where the lion's share of people, when we asked the question, how many technologies do you use to drive your revenue operations, which for me includes marketing ops, sales ops, and customer success ops, the lion's share were well north of 4 or 5 systems. So they all have different systems, which creates different silos of data, which makes for accuracy. It makes it very difficult to be accurate and understand the true nature of your customer base, where you've got opportunities to upsell, your new customer base and your prospect base, where you can drive new business. And so there's so many technologies out there that are being used. And so you've got one person in the sales organization that's using tool X. They may download that data to Excel, upload it to another system, and you've got this mishmash of technology, which makes it very hard to make any rational, meaningful decisions. So I think the technology sprawl and all of these individual technology vendors doing specific things in their little niche is great because it solves the problem, but there's no aggregation layer to take all of the data from all of those individual systems and pull them all together and do the analytics that are necessary.
What are the key drivers that sales leaders need to consider when they want to improve sales performance management?
So I think the most important thing is to understand what are the key KPIs that actually drive success in your business. A lot of times we help our customers figure out what are those things that you should be looking at from a sales performance management perspective, right? Is it pipeline build? Is it sales to existing? Is it strategic accounts? Is it focus accounts? What are those things that are really meaningful? And you can only do that with historical data. So you've got to have the historical data enough to be able to see where the success has come from and then exploit that success. So identifying those KPIs is the most important thing. And then you kind of work backwards. Okay, so these are the KPIs that I'm driving towards. Now, where's the data that I need to drive that? Where's the workflow and what are the processes that drive towards those KPIs, and then start to implement those.
Can you share a success story?
The most compelling success story for me was when I first started here at Board. There was geographic territories built, which I think was an interesting way to organize the sales team. I really wanted to focus on more of a named account territory. So we basically set out to identify what are the customers that matter to us, right? Industries, size of company, revenue, employees, whatever the location, whatever the key demographics were of the individual companies. So we put together the algorithm for defining what a good customer looks like, right? Ideal customer profile. Then we went and I used Board to go and quickly select and filter on all of those key demographics to then build out my territories. And the most important part of that is to create this scoring algorithm so that you can have equitable territories. Because my belief as a sales leader is the number one failure of sales organization is inequitable territories. Because if you've got some salespeople with not enough opportunity and some salespeople with too much, you miss out on the sales opportunities that are for those that have too much, and then you lose those salespeople that don't have enough opportunity. And so we built a scoring model whereby we said, this industry is one where we do really well. So we allocated a score to them. This is a company that is fairly large, so that has a different score than a smaller company. And we created this scoring algorithm to create these equitable territories.
Thank you, Jim, for sharing your insights and your wisdom. You are a shining example on how a sales organization can be fully integrated and operate at the speed of thought.